Okay, let's talk about killing the Eventide H3000. Now, one of the really cool benefits of putting all your essential features in a delay is you can do really cool stuff like kill the Eventide H3000. Now, the H3000's got a ton of features, but most people just leave the thing on the Microshift preset. I mean, I love the reverb, or like the Crystal Echoes thing is the corniest, best, coolest thing ever. But which, by the way, the Microshift's been done pretty well in plug-in land, but the other factors of the H3000 have not been done well at all for some reason. Anyway, Soundtoys sells their Microshift for $129, and it's not bad. It's good, but it leaves almost no room for tweaking, and I consider that to be a major downside. And frankly, I don't understand why I would want to buy the Microshift when the delay itself should do that. And the other thing is, since we can't really tweak the Microshift other than pushing 3 or 4 buttons that Soundtoys makes, we're really kind of stuck. And as I'm going to show you here in a little bit, when you're doing more quote-unquote natural sounds, indie rock, country, Johnny Cash type stuff, you got to be real careful with how you approach this Eventide sound, because it can get very, artificial, robotic-y in a hurry. Those kind of effects, rock music is more friendly to them. Dance music is very friendly to them. But you can't really get away with that in more quote-unquote natural genres. Well, being able to tweak that initial delay setting is huge for that. You can back way off on the amount of that effect and the quote-unquote fakeness just by manipulating the delay. So let me go ahead and show you here. Now, what we're going to need to get this sound, well, first off, you've got to compress the crap out of it on the way in. Now, technically, you could do that by inserting a compressor beforehand. I would rather just do it on the delay. It's just faster and easier. We're going to need high-pass and low-pass filters on this delay. We're going to need the ability to offset the left and right channels so we have different delay times on each side. And we're going to need separate pitch shifts for left and right. So none of this is too groundbreaking, but you got to have all 4 of those things to really get this sound. Okay, and I'm starting with just an initial default boring version right here of the Boz Digital Labs delay. Okay, and what we got here is kind of a real raw indie, I don't know what you call it, indie rock, pop, whatever. Guy doesn't believe in auto-tune. I'm cool with that. It is not up to your Maroon 5 standards, boys and girls. That's okay. All right, so let's check out what we got here. Okay, now that's totally dry on his voice. So let's go ahead and turn on the delay. I'm going to go and knock the time down to, we'll say 11 milliseconds. I like to stick with the prime numbers. It makes me feel more like I'm on Star Trek. Okay, now, let's hear it. You can see we're kind of getting a phasiness, sort of comb filtering thing going. It's a little bit too fake right now. Well, let's go ahead and saturate this thing a bit. I shouldn't say saturate, but compress the thing. So we're going to turn on the drive. And I already know for this, the clean mode isn't really where it's at. We have tight mid, which I don't know what's going on in terms of this particular drive, but I really like it. All right. We really just want to knock off some of those peaks and get a little more, I guess, density, for lack of a better word. And of course, by cranking up the drive now, the output level's a little hot, so we'll back off on that. Okay, now let's go ahead and turn on the pitch shifter. Now we have 2, one for the left and one for the right. With the yellow button on, they're synced together, so let's kill that. And we'll right click and we'll do 1 cent for the left and 3 cents for the right. And I know what you're thinking, that a lot of you guys know that the pitches for the Eventide are like 9 and 16 or 11 or something like that. Either way, I've had really good luck with these. I like to keep them smaller for the most part because it keeps it from getting too effecty, I guess you could say. Okay, so let's see what we got so far. And you can tell already we're getting to a pleasing point. There's something to my ears radically more interesting than that sound versus the dry. Let me show you. And turning it on. And that's already really getting sexy, and maybe even we could probably stop right there. But going with the Eventide thing, it usually is quite a bit wider. And this is where the offset comes in handy. And this gives us a little bit different delay values for left and right, and a lot more stereo width if we choose to use it. Let's play with that. You can see that right side is, or here, the right side is way off now. I guess behind. And that's set at 100 milliseconds. So let's go with something more like, I like 11. I like sticking with these prime numbers again for no real reason. And now let's go ahead and keep going. The color is where this thing gets interesting as well. And we have the slant, which is from Boz's T-Bone plugin, and high pass and low pass filters. I like to engage both of these. We need to knock off a little bit of the top just to avoid some sibilance and spittiness, and then knock off the bottom just to avoid mud. And that's something that could happen a lot with the old H3000 is if you sent mud to it, you would get quite a bit of mud back, maybe less, but that could be a real problem with effects. So I like to have that option and knock all that crap off. So if we choose to, right now, again, I like this sound quite a bit. Let's play with it a little bit, and then we'll jump into the color here. Pretty cool, but let's get that brighter and I guess more aggressive, and then we'll blend it back in. See, now it's starting to get that cleaner, invisible sound where it's a little less artificial, I guess. All right, I'm going to turn off the delay. Boring. Turn it on. And then for some of you, that may still be too much. And that's what I was talking about, that we can get really fake with this sound. So what I like to do is turn the delay down from 11 milliseconds to, let's just go down to like 1, which normally you could never get away with if you weren't using offsets and weren't using independent pitches and stuff like that. You just get pure phasing. But now we can do that. Watch it. So we have so many cool options we can adapt. We can take this Eventide H3000 Microshift sound and we can come up with cool stuff, unique stuff, and make it fit not just electronic music and hip hop or Aussie, but we can kind of force it into more organic duties. And for me, I find that radically superior to just having one Microshift plugin. And also, we don't have to learn a new plugin. We've got the one delay that we have to dig in, and maybe there's a little bit of work involved with a plugin this in depth. But you learn one delay, and you've got all these other tricks in your Swiss Army knife. So I find being able to tweak this thing awesome, and it's so good because the last thing I want to do is a client that's coming in doing indie rock stuff, saying, "Whoa, what's up with the robot effect, bro?" Well, I don't have to worry about that. I can tame the robotness. So anyway, I'm a big believer in the Boz Digital Labs delay, and hopefully you are too. Out.